Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Bonnie Bowman. I'm a Public Information Officer with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. We're delighted to have you here this morning to share more about a new unit that we've started, the Violent Crime Reduction Unit. Today you'll hear from two speakers, BCA Superintendent Drew Evans and VCRU Special Agent in Charge Jake May. We will have some time for questions at the end of the prepared remarks, so please hold on to those until our speakers have finished. Thanks.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you again for being here today. As noted, I'm Drew Evans. I'm the superintendent here at the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. We're excited to be here today to talk about the finalization of our completion of forming our newest unit here at the BCA with our partners that are standing with us here today, called our Violent Crime Reduction Unit. This will allow us to continue to leverage our resources, expertise, and our local partnerships to combat violent crime across the Twin Cities and the entire state of Minnesota. Back in April of 2022, we launched a Violent Crime Reduction Support Unit with the goal to assist some of our local partners who are coping with the spike in violent crime and staffing shortages, in particular the city of Minneapolis. We provided those strategic resources, including our agents, analysts, crime scene personnel, and scientists to assist with repeat violent offenders who were engaged in shootings, violent crime, gun trafficking, and related crimes at that time. We saw a remarkable success, and what that is, and this is an illustration of it here today, is when we come together as law enforcement, we can pool our resources in a way to have great results. Since that time, between Minneapolis, Hennepin County VOTIF, the United States Attorney's Office, and several of the partners that are standing behind me here today, we had over 1,400 arrests and confiscated more than 650 firearms, 150,000 fentanyl pills, each of which could kill one of our citizens each and every day. 220 pounds of methamphetamine and other drugs at the same time that is interrelated in the violent crime that we've seen. Lawmakers saw the value of letting us work together in this format and were able to provide the funding to launch this new Violent Crime Reduction Unit. The additional funding provides specialized staff and a new centralized location for them to work from, which we're in the process of finalizing right now. This new team will work with our forensic intelligence response and support and testing team in our laboratory. We call it FIRST for short, which is a new approach we're taking designed to assist this team to look at how to provide leads out of our laboratory more quickly, to provide identification, and a very specialized intelligence-led approach to identifying those individuals that are causing the most harm in our communities, in particular those that are committing shootings and trafficking firearms. For the first time ever, we'll be adding a criminal intelligence analyst into our laboratory to work closely with our VCRU and other units to best utilize the information available already to strategically identify those individuals that are committing harm in our communities. We have also added scientists as part of this initiative for our violent crime efforts, in particular in our firearms laboratory and our DNA laboratory, to provide answers more quickly to the individuals that are assigned to this unit and to our partners across the entire state who are working on these cases already. There remains challenges with this critical component of the work in our laboratory as we were working to expand a new laboratory location in Mankato and Bemidji to support that work, to have the space to really make this an effective strategy. Unfortunately, that was part of the bonding bill that didn't pass yesterday, but we are committed to continuing to pursue those facilities so that we can provide answers to our local partners quickly, as that can be a force multiplier with our forensics in addition to the work that's being done here today. We are in the process of outfitting that new space for this team, as we noted here. We have a great partner as one of the members of the team in our Maplewood that's going to house this team with a centralized location so this team can come together. All told, this team will be over 40 individuals. That's the size of a medium-sized police department, so they can leverage the resources very quickly to address concerns in each of their communities as they stand behind us, and to be able to travel across the other communities that are experiencing issues. As we head into the summer, part of the reason we're announcing this today, as they've been diligently working together as a team to come together to form this unit, we know that violent crime spikes in the Twin Cities in particular and across the state, and this team is poised and ready to assist and supplement the great work that's already being done. I've mentioned some of that before, both in the United States Attorney's Office, the Violent Offender Task Force in Hennepin County, Minneapolis, St. Paul. All of them have units that are really designed to address some of this crime that we've experienced over the last several years. And as some have noted, the violent crime trends are starting to trend in the right direction, but there's a lot of work still to remain because far too many of our citizens and the people in our communities experience violent crime, and this team is designed to supplement and support them as we move into the summer months and into the future across the entire state of Minnesota. And so with that, I will turn it over to our special agent in charge who's been assigned to form this team and do this work, Jake May from the BCA.
Thank you, Superintendent. Good morning. My name is Jake May. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the Violent Crime Reduction Unit. I led the Violent Crime Reduction Support Initiative, and I'm honored to take the helm of this new unit. I've seen firsthand just how committed every member of the unit is to preventing violent crime and making our neighborhoods safer. It is a mission we all truly stand behind. At full strength, as Superintendent Evans had mentioned, we will have 14 agents, 2 criminal intelligence analysts, 2 crime victim witness coordinators, and 11 task force officers from a dozen local partnering agencies. The unit also includes Canine Tross, BCA's first ever firearms detection canine. He is trained to sniff out gunshot residue and often helps the team find crucial evidence. Each member of this unit is among the best of the best at what they do and has the experience to make this team successful. In fact, we are already seeing some successes. In the first quarter of 2024, the unit, in conjunction with our local partners, has made 112 arrests, confiscated 66 firearms, seized 2,700 fentanyl pills, and over 9 pounds of methamphetamine and other drugs like cocaine and heroin. We want the people out there, the repeat offenders, the people who don't care who they hurt, who gets caught in the crossfire, or where their drugs end up, to know that they are the ones we are targeting, that we are going to come after them. Every member of this unit is committed to holding violent criminals accountable and making Minnesota safer. Thank you.
We now have some time for some questions. If you would share your name and which outlet you're with when you ask your question.
KSCP employee. I know, Superintendent, you said that violent crime is trending in the right direction, but is it like historically high still?
Yeah, so violent crime has been trending in the right direction in terms of it's come down. You know, one of the metrics that we often look at here is 2019 and prior, where we were in a really good place as a state in terms of violent crime. Since that time, it's spiked significantly. It's gone kind of up and down throughout. It still remains above those levels. And so we see no reason with the partnerships with all the agencies behind us here today, the BCA and others, that we can get that number back to pre-2019 levels. So in terms of where it's at currently, to your answer specifically, it still remains elevated, even though we're going in the right direction, which is positive. It shows the partnerships. It shows what can be done when you do that, but it's still important that we now double down those efforts to make sure that we really continue to concentrate on those relatively few number of people that are committing a lot of harm in our communities. Yeah, so the funding of this unit was provided ongoing funding for the BCA component of this. So the funding was provided by the legislature last year, and we've had that money. One of the components of that design as well was to fund our local partners in that process. That was from a pot of money that's one-time appropriation of approximately $15 million. And the goal of that is to be able to provide funding to fund the officers, agents, detectives that are being assigned to this from the local entities. The goal of this unit from the very beginning was we, as there's been struggles with staffing in all of our law enforcement across the Minnesota, is that we're not going to take individuals from their communities. We're going to be a force multiplier. So they're able to backfill by funding the full-time position that's being assigned here. We will reimburse the agency, therefore they can backfill if they deem that appropriate at that time, so that we actually gain individuals, and then this team can go around when there's issues that pop up here and there. But the actual ongoing cost is about 11, or a little over, almost $12 million, and then the $15 million pot we will do. And as you can see, there's been strong interest already, and so we'll be showing the work and that can be done with this, and worked with the legislature to fund that as necessary moving forward. And you want to highlight? Yeah, We might be able to follow up with you specific, and I do that because you see me look up. Yes, there are a number of different cases. It's a matter of getting you some examples that have been worked on in conjunction. What I will tell you, though, is that this team, working in partnership with the others, the arrests are there. Each one of those arrests represent a defendant that we're working together on. There are several cases that can remain underway as well. What the goal of this unit was from the beginning is to do kind of threefold. One is those individuals providing assistance to our partners as they're looking for individuals who have committed some sort of crime in their community, and so they'll support them doing that. Two is gathering some of the cases as assistance with the local agencies as they are, and a number of those investigations remain and continue to be underway, including some of the high-profile cases that you've seen we've been involved in the city of Minneapolis. And then three, to target those guns that are flowing into our communities, and then the related narcotics trafficking that is very much interrelated to the violent crime that we see, and so they come together. But we can look for some specific examples with making sure that we're protecting any cases that are ongoing and underway. We can follow up offline with that. So in that process, this funding became available, and so we were able to stretch the dollars, and these are the agencies among some others that have expressed an interest in joining the team, and so we were able to do that somewhat organically in this process. A lot of the communities that are represented here are already engaged in a lot of violent crime work, not just in their community, but providing support to task forces in their communities as well, and so we were able to target some of those locations that those partnerships already exist and are ongoing, not just with the BCA, but with other task forces that exist, and that really helps us bridge between all the different work. The goal of this unit continues to be to supplement, not be redundant to anything that's already in place, and so these are great partners to really help us bridge that gap. Yeah, so how it's different is we have all the partners that are here behind me and others today. That Violent Crime Reduction Support Initiative was primarily the BCA with Fridley. That was a partner right from the beginning. We're able to get that funding now for them because they can't sustain that ongoing as they have their other supports, but we're able to fund the partners now. That's the main difference between what was started in 2022 and where we are today, and that funding is ongoing. We had to pull agents and scientists from other really important work that we're doing, including our homicide unit, some of our large-scale narcotics work that we're doing. This allows us now to fund the agents full-time, and then we can go back to that other work that we had to pause during that time period so that we can dedicate them strictly to this work. And I should have noted to begin with, certainly if any of the chiefs, the sheriff's office, if you have questions for them, they're more than happy to answer questions as well. Yeah, it's a statewide, and part of the reason that we designed this together is we know each of these communities, they're great partners coming on to the task force, but they know it's a primarily metro-centric. A lot of that's simply driven by our population. Minnesota, nearly 4 million of our residents are here in the greater Twin Cities metropolitan area, so a lot of the focus will be here. However, this is a statewide team, and there are other communities across our state as they experience surges in greater Minnesota that this team will be available to assist them. Our agents are used to working across the state. Our agents are currently stationed in 12 different field offices all across the state of Minnesota to include our regional office, and so they're used to doing that. This is why this can work well, because we can supplement and work together with each other across the entire state of Minnesota. So it's a statewide team, but we know just based on the population alone and where our crime is in this state that a lot of the work will be in the Twin Cities. Yeah, so great question. One of the things as Special Agent in Charge, Jake May noted, is that these agencies have sent us really great people. They're going to put together really good cases, and they really are targeting those most violent offenders, and so the case will be made through the casework. We are used to, at the BCA, working with all 87 elected county attorneys in the state of Minnesota. Part of the value of this team too coming together is this is a collective voice. When we encounter an individual or persons that are committing violent crime in a community, that we will be standing together to talk with the county attorney if we believe a particular direction needs to be taken in a case. And I'm confident that we can bridge some of those partnerships moving forward to ensure that this team has a good open line of communication so that when we are doing proactive work with individuals that are committing violent crimes, that we get those on the radar of that county attorney to take appropriate charging action at that time. All right. Anything else? Yes. Thank you. I just want to say as we go again, thanks to the partners. They're really what is going to make the glue of this team going forward, and we have some really great folks here and working with everybody else as well. So thank you again.